Welcome to Bright Horizons with
Deb and Jim.
Jim.
Buenos dias. Good morning, everybody.
Buongiorno a tutti.
We're
We love
back, and it's
we
Friday.
love being here with you.
We love being here
Here
with
with you.
you. We certainly do.
She's a
Scooby,
songwriter. Did you know
Scooby
that?
Doo.
Deb's a songwriter.
Da 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 da. Everything's got a rhyme.
And she's got the Zsa Zsa curls going.
I got the Jaw Jaw girl coming on. Da 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 da
I
da.
think you posted a picture yesterday on Facebook. There were no Zsa Zsa curls.
No, it's funny. One of my
I said,
girlfriends
who is
came
that?
in. You saw that? Well, my girlfriend Alexandra, who's an agent for Illustrated, she came in and she's coming back in to do more business, and I'm so happy because she's a great gal.
Right.
And I had my hair back like a Pekingese dog. I mean, it wasn't. I didn't fuss or muss with it. I just kind
I
of.
said, is that Deb who had the Zsa Zsa curls?
I know. Well, it's amazing because I used to wear my hair in different ways. I mean,
Right.
straight down, foo, this, that, the other. I love playing. Like I said, I went to beauty school years ago, and I enjoy it. It's fun,
Right.
But
with the weather here, it's hard
and
to.
it is. It's
to
so
do
much
that.
easier just to put it up, put that clip in there. Girls, you know what I'm talking
High
about.
humidity.
You know.
That's how we stay young in South Florida with the high
That's
humidity.
right.
Good for our skin.
It is Friday. We're back, and our topic of the day, Jim and I discussed. It's so true when you think about it. What game show means? What definition of a game show strikes your heart? And the topic will be:
Is your life like a game show?
game show?
But I have a couple of birthdays first before we
Okay,
start
let's
that.
hit those birthdays.
On today, the 9th, happy birthday to my nephew Christopher.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Christopher.
birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
You. And then Sunday, my niece Caroline. Happy birthday.
Caroline, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday, yes. Going to be a big celebration with their friends. It's so nice that those, when they're preteens.
It's fun and it's nice. And boy, I go back in time when you said that. All of a sudden, I'm recollecting in my mind, my gosh, all the times. Yeah.
And it'll be fall soon, imagine.
Winter, spring, summer,
A
or fall. Here
Oh,
we are again, y'all.
y'all.
Y'all. I feel like we just did this yesterday, and we did. And it's fall.
Well, is your life like a game show?
Jim, it's interesting. It is like a game show. And you know why I feel like
I'd like to record you for a full day.
You go
A
right ahead.
reality
You
show.
go right ahead. I've often said that's what I want to do. And who knows, we might surprise you.
That's right.
You never know.
Yes.
We might just surprise
Well, just like
you.
your birthday, we caught you sleeping in your bedroom.
This man over here, as you know, the talented Mr. Jim Chiaffi, who's full of surprises and never ever surprises me, never a dull moment, and I love that about him. But it's so much fun because my birthday was spectacular, but he made it even more so spectacular.
It was a lot
He
of
made
fun.
me princess of the morning, princess of the morning, princess of the day,
Yes.
with my tiara and my beautiful sable, and it was just a blast. And that wonderful ice cream cake, which we devoured. Loved it.
Great memories, great fun.
Beautiful,
That's what we love.
yeah, beautiful memories.
That's what life's
So,
all about.
Yeah, and
that's what game shows are all about.
that's what you're
Fun.
saying. It is a television program in which contestants compete, but in life, are we competing?
Yes,
in
there's
a sense, we
competition.
are. We are
Yes.
because we're getting up in the morning, we're fighting the traffic, we're getting to work on time, and we're trying to get the job done quicker than we did the day before. And let's see what race we can run today. So it is, in a sense, a lot of our lives are.
In high
Sum it up.
school,
Sum
in
it
high
up.
school, I actually participated in a game show.
You were telling me that. Listen to
Yes.
this.
See, on television,
I love it.
And I'm not sure if it was national. It might have just been in the New York City area. It was called It's Academic.
It's academic.
And you would have schools competing with each other, high schools.
Oh, how interesting. I
competing with
like
each other.
that. Okay.
So we took it on a local level first. We were called the Whiz Kids.
The Whiz Kids. Oh, the Whiz Kids. I like that.
So I remember there were 3 or 4 of us who would travel to different high schools, and then we would have a competitive. These questions would be fired at us. We'd have to answer them.
On
And
the spot, right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking that they might have been questions to the group, and then whoever knew the answer could respond rather than individually. Individually. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. I loved it. And you learn a lot through those experiences, the camaraderie.
Oh,
That's important to
camaraderie is
develop
a
as
major,
children.
major,
to
absolutely.
to have that among the
Yeah.
students. It was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
Well, good.
Yes.
The Whiz Kids. I love that. I was going in my mind through the years, all the different, I wrote a list of the game shows
Yes.
I love on my day off, if I have a vacation day, if I'm home. I love The Price is Right. That happens to be one of my favorite shows, and Family Feud.
Yes.
Those are two. There's so many great ones.
A
but
lot
as
of
far as
laughs. A
favorites,
lot of laughs with Family Feud.
yes, Family Feud. Steve Harvey, God bless you. You're so funny. I just think you're. I mean, I one of the main reasons why I watch is because of him. He is hilarious. He's got such a. He's a perfect host for that show.
And was it
Perfect.
Richard Dawson years ago?
Richard Dawson
Yeah.
prior, yes, and he
Yeah.
was fabulous. But there's only one Steve Harvey, and you are it. You are wonderful, Steve. You make that game show fun, and what it is.
What I love to see is the dynamics between the family members.
Isn't that
You know,
funny?
you'll have some that are
It's-
really
I
outgoing
know. And then
and
some that are so intimidated,
yes.
like, ooh, and they because you really do get caught on the spot. You're looking at the first seven questions, and it's like, oh my gosh, if you say something and you're embarrassed, well, you're on the spot. You're on TV.
Right.
You have to say what you get.
And if you've ever been on TV, you know that you get nervous.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
It's one thing to watch it
yes.
from home on a
Yes.
television screen, but being there in person, that's a whole nother
And
story.
then if you think
wow.
millions of people are watching me, it could be intimidating.
And then you know that you only have so many seconds on the clock. It's
Right.
like, okay, boom, boom.
Pressure,
and then
which we
your
have in
mind
life.
starts to go boom, boom, boom.
Right?
boom,
In
and you're
life,
like,
we have pressure.
constantly. So there we go.
Yes.
The similarity.
Yes.
Is your life like a game show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
I
are
mean,
so many things that happen in our lives that are like a game show.
you know, just recently I've been watching. I'm hooked on the new Password, the revised.
Oh, is it good?
Oh, it's fabulous. It was years ago. We all know Betty White.
Yes,
And
Alan Ludden.
Ludden, and
Yes.
the new revised one today is hosted by Kiki Palmer and Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is a
Oh,
producer.
he's funny.
He's the producer of the show, and
Okay.
he's quite good. He's really funny, but it's much more comical and much more entertaining than I anticipated.
I'm trying to remember. You pass a word to the person.
Yes.
And then you have to give hints,
And
right?
the password is now, say for instance, it's okay, summer. It's
Right,
hot
right.
outside. Now the password is summer.
Okay.
Let's say, and then I've got the password. It's up to me whether I want to resolve it or pass it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can do this. But you can't give it away by using gestures. You
Right.
can't use it, because that's easy for anyone to do. There wouldn't be a game.
So you give synonyms
So
or things that
synonyms,
describe
right.
it.
So I would say, Jim,
right.
hot. Or
And I'd say you are.
yeah. Oh, okay. Woohoo! I love that. We'll stop right there. Or I'd say vacation, or
Yeah. That's,
what would come to my
yeah.
mind?
Vacation. People think of summer.
Summer vacation.
Now, are you
or
allowed
I
to
would-
say season? Can you describe
You
it also?
can, but it also another trick to the show, or maybe not a trick, but something to remember is it needs to be one word.
Oh, okay.
You cannot have two.
Right.
So
And
you
if
can't
if
say
you
summer vacation.
if
It,
you-
beep, beep, beep.
If, I was going to say, did they beep,
Beep,
you?
yeah,
if
they
you-
will beep, beep, beep you. Oh, yeah. But if you haven't had a chance to watch the new revised Password, I recommend that you do. It's fun and it's enjoyable.
Well-
and it's good for the brain. It
Well,
makes your
yes,
brain.
that's which is life. You know,
Right. Life again.
have to
There you
think,
go.
right?
You have
Right?
to think.
And
Oh, God help us if we
analyze.
don't.
Yeah, attorneys, we use logic.
That's
which,
right,
Which
right.
I would think, in my mind, the clues would be logical. to
Exactly.
whatever
You're
it
always
is.
weighing
Yes.
everything out. The
Yes.
clues. That's perfect for
Yes.
your line of work.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, strategies for how to make life fun on a game show. How do you
Right.
make it fun? Well, you have to have a great host.
Yes.
Again, getting back to Steve Harvey, and even with this.
That's
new,
why I wore this jacket. So
Yes,
I
you
thought
see that?
I might look like a game show host.
And you do. When you walked in, I said, "That's lovely. It's just so perfect." And the tie, that's a beautiful. Is that felt?
Thank you.
That's
No.
I thought it was suede at
No,
first. Okay,
yeah.
but you always look
Thank
immaculate.
you.
And
But I'm a game show host.
he's
today.
a game show host today. Absolutely.
We might be asking you questions.
Ta-da! I had seen on TV a little over a year ago the Kravis Center. We all who live in Palm Beach County know the Kravis Center. It's wonderful for your Broadway shows, and I get the pamphlet that gets sent to the home.
Yes.
And I'm on the mailing list. I mean, when we have a
Wonderful
chance to
venue
go.
for music,
The
entertainment.
venue that they
yes.
have is fabulous. My gosh, you couldn't get. They have the Broward Performing Arts Center in Fort Lauderdale,
Right.
Broward, and here in Palm Beach County we have the Kravis Center.
And it's so close to us, which is nice.
It's fabulous. So a little over a year ago, they had The Price is Right.
Really?
And The Price is Right was what they were going around to the different cities and the different states and having a ball doing
To
so.
scout contestants?
Well, basically just to show the fun of it all.
okay.
And contestants, you could either show up and be there on time, 2 hours ahead of the show, if you care to join, or just show up to be there to
And
enjoy
did
the
you
show.
go 2 hours ahead?
I did, so did Greg. We were hoping, but either way, it turned out to be so much fun. And
Right.
we got the mezzanine seats. We were stuck getting those, but they were actually very good seats. We were able to see the whole overview. It wasn't
Right.
orchestra seats to where
Right.
you smack right there in front.
Right.
and you see just this.
So tell us
You
about
get
the
to see-
process. When you
So the
arrived, was there a
process,
long
it was
line you had to wait on?
Very long. I looked
Okay.
at Greg. I said, I don't know if we're going to get out of here tonight. I
Right.
said, I have a feeling we're going to be spending the night. It was amazing, as you well can imagine.
And most
But-
of those people wanted to be contestants because they were there
Yes,
2 hours
and
in
a
advance.
lot of them had T-shirts on saying "Come on down."
Oh
and
yeah,
specialized
you want to get their
T-shirts.
attention, right?
Right. And I had seen, of course, you had the cameraman there running around and,
Right.
come on, everyone, look at me this way.
Yes.
And, Greg and I didn't have and I thought about it too. I said,
Yes.
maybe we should get some T-shirts. I never,
Yeah.
did that, but that's
Right.
okay.
Right.
And it was just, I got the biggest kick out of watching people, yay, and screaming and having a good old time. But they would call you prior to the show beginning, and there was seats down below. You could see that they were set up
Right.
just so, because you can't just get seated in a big place like that and then be called, because you'd be forever getting down the stairs to the
Right.
stage. So it
And
was
that-
just a
and
great
did
experience.
They gave
Gifts
prizes
away,
last
yes,
night?
yes.
Okay,
They had
good.
all their wonderful games that the Price is Right has. They even had Plinko, one of my favorite games, and the girl who played Pink, I think she won like $1,000. And then there was a gentleman who won a trip to Hawaii.
Wow.
And I thought that was amazing. I thought, oh, how great is that? Because here he is, a nervous wreck, and you could see he wasn't planning. As you said before,
Yes.
you're a nervous wreck. You're not thinking, because you're timed. But he
Yes.
won. He did a great job, and there were a couple of contestants and the host. Forgive me, I forgot the name of the host. But anyway,
Well,
it was
once
fun.
again, time constraints. We have to live with time constraints. So these are all factors
Yes,
that affect
yes.
our lives, just like on a game show.
Absolutely, yeah.
I tried out for I think it was this is back in the late 70s, $10,000 pyramid.
That's another great show. $10,000.
My sister and I,
Right, really?
Angela, went. And
Oh, how much fun!
we had to go down to Manhattan. We were living in New York at the time. And I forget
New
wherever
York.
wherever the studio was. I don't remember what state. It might have been ABC, I think. And
I remember that. Yeah,
they
$10,000
interviewed us.
pyramid.
So one-on-one, there was a one-on-one interview.
Uh-huh.
And then they
Were
had
you
us fill
nervous?
out. No, not really, because we weren't being filmed in any way. And then they
The
actually
anticipation.
gave us some type of a quiz written, And I knew that you have to have a lot of personality to be on the show, so I was trying to be extroverted, when I was talking with the woman. But they had so many people, and neither one of us were picked. It was a little disappointing, but it would have been
Yeah,
fun.
of course,
Because Dick
but-
Clark was the MC at that
Yeah,
time.
that's right.
Yes, he was the
he was
host.
amazing.
Yes.
What a wonderful man. What a wonderful man.
Yep.
Well, that was a great experience
Yes.
for you and Angela.
Yes, it
That's
was. We
wonderful.
really enjoyed that.
You walked away with a fun memory in your mind,
Yes.
which is really important. The things that we do in life, when you go back and you revisit those
Now,
times.
friends of my family, I think there was this game show. It was before I was born. It was called Bride and Groom. And
Bride and Groom.
my mother's friends, Abe and Ottilie, the wife was Ottilie, were selected. And you had to tell a story about your life. And he was unfortunately in a concentration camp. So it was nice that they picked him to hear his story. But then they give you furniture for your home. It was just
Nice.
wonderful for them
Beautiful,
to receive that.
beautiful. Nice,
So I
very
always remember
nice.
that wonderful gesture that
Aw.
was extended to them.
The bride and groom, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
no, it
I
was
was thinking
before we were
about the
born, I
newly.
think.
You were just saying
Yeah.
that, and I remember the Newlywed Game. I love that.
Well, in the 40s, you wouldn't remember, but we've seen repeats.
Match
You
Me.
Bet Your Life.
You betcha.
Groucho Marx.
Oh my gosh!
And he
You
used to
Bet
have
Your
that
Life.
duck, I think, that would fall down or something, or a bird.
What a character he was! My gosh.
That was on the radio and it was on TV. You Bet Your Life.
Oh, Wheel of Fortune's another one. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? When you think about these game shows, the amount that we have, whether it's from the past or most current, they're just enjoyable. If you enjoy game shows.
One of the
And-
ones I liked was To Tell the Truth.
Yes, to tell the truth. Yeah.
Now, that was Bud Collier. I looked this up.
Uh-huh.
And you remember the celebrities were Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson
Peggy,
Bean,
oh,
and
Peggy
Kitty
Cass.
Carlisle.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
You had three contestants on the stage. One was the actual person, and the other were imposters. And you would have to ask them
To
questions.
tell the truth,
and the
yes.
imposters could lie.
And you would never, you'd have to figure it out.
But the one who was the real person could not lie. He or she had to tell the truth. So it was really funny.
I remember
'Cause-
Desi Arnaz was on one of those shows.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of the celebrities.
Yeah.
So it really was like an occupation or some type of an experience you had to talk about.
I'm so glad you brought that up. But that
was
brings
fun.
back wonderful memories. Oh my gosh.
And then I've Got a Secret. I love that.
I've
show,
Got
too.
a Secret.
Gary Moore was the host. And they had Henry Morgan, Faye Emerson, but Bill
Wow,
Collier
wow.
and Jane Meadows. Remember Steve Allen's
Oh, of
wife?
course, the honeymooners. Yeah. Who can forget Jane Meadows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Audrey,
fun.
what was
And then Concentration was a game I used to like when as a
Concentration?
child.
Yes. Wow.
I don't remember who that host was, but it was really a good show.
Concentration.
That took a lot of mind games with that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Well, like today we do word puzzles and all that, Jumbo World.
Yes.
It's very good for the mind. Very, very good.
Yeah.
I
Well,
can
they
sit there
recommend
and-
that for seniors,
Yes.
especially if you retire, to keep your mind occupied.
Oh yeah. I mean, I could do that all day long and have a
Yes.
ball doing that.
Puzzles are wonderful.
Yes, I did that as a matter of fact 2 weeks ago. I saw a couple of Family Feud games and Greg walked in the room. He goes, "What are you watching?" I said, "Family Feud. Do you want to join me?" And they're repeats, so he didn't have any interest in it. But I just sat there and just loved it.
Right.
I got into it. I loved it so much.
No, one I could see you and Greg on was, first of all, dating game when you were dating, or the newlywed game when you
The
were married.
Newlywed Game. How does that
Did you
song
watch
go?
that together, that
Oh
show?
no, Greg's not into all that. I am.
Because
I
I'm
love
curious
that.
whether you could both answer those questions.
You know, it's a good question because you would think you'd know your
Yes,
spouse.
right.
You know, you would think.
Yes.
And I've often thought that because God help him if he doesn't.
After 35 years, Greg, you better know the answers to the questions.
Oh, well, I'm joking, of course, but honestly, you know, you do the best you can. But some of the questions are amazing. I mean, you have
Yeah.
to really dig deep and figure out, hey, you know, and honey, I'll talk to you later. Okay. It's a great show, though. In fact, they came out with a revised Newlywed. I don't think it lasted very long.
Right.
A few years
Yes.
ago.
And then What's My Line? Remember that one?
What's my line?
That was
Absolutely.
Arlene Francis,
Arlene Francis.
Dorothy Kilgallen,
Wow, Jim.
Bennett Cerf, Steve Allen, and Soupy Sales. I used to
Soupy
love
Sales.
Soupy Sales.
Oh my gosh, Soupy Sales. Oh,
He had a children's show years ago. You might have been, you're a little younger than me, but
but I
do you
remember that. Yeah.
Soupy
Soupy
Sales. And I actually he wore
Wow.
this cap on his head.
Wow.
And I remember that
I'm
my
thinking
parents bought
about
me
it.
the same cap. I had it for years. It was like a plaid cap.
And it had like a windmill. Not a windmill. It had a
I don't think it had anything on it to
there was
twirl.
something on it.
But the hat itself is what I had, and I used to see it in the closet and remember about the Soupy Sales. He was so funny. You know, a lot of those shows were produced by Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. They'd say
The good
Goodson
old
and
days.
Todman Productions.
The good old days, you know, all that was in the past comes back eventually revised, but
Yes.
you can't get the olden days back. Sorry, you just can't.
And then you know who gained notoriety? Dr. Joyce Brothers on the $64,000 question. She won that twice.
Jeez.
Imagine she
Oh.
got $64,000 two times on that show.
Wow.
And obviously she was very bright. She was a psychologist. But that really also catapulted her career because she used to be on TV quite often, if you
Mhm.
remember. I can
Wow.
still picture her face. I doubt she's still alive. I don't know.
I don't think so. No, she's gone. She's passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. We also lost our beloved Queen Elizabeth yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, what a
So
shame.
I'll say prayers for the family.
Yes, absolutely.
And then there was Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood Squares. They
Paul
were
Lynde
all,
in the middle.
I loved how it light up, and then they
Yes.
would make these comments, and they'd go like this, and they'd bounce out of their little square. Oh, what a great show!
Which was all humor, and we have to have
Funny.
a sense of humor in our life.
Funny.
So, right? It parallels our life,
Yep.
emphasizing that sense of humor.
You know, I was thinking to myself, how do I make my life feel like a game? You know, ask yourself these questions. Really, ask yourself what action you would need to take in order to move up the level,
Right.
as you were just alluding to. Once you've reached a level, reward yourself. Treat it like a game, you know, in every aspect of what you're doing in life. You know, challenge yourself.
Yes.
Going back to challenging yourself.
Is Name That Tune still on?
No.
Because I think you'd
No.
be good on that
Name
show.
that tune. Oh, now that I would.
Yes,
you
within
know,
one or two notes you could
I
probably
happen
do.
to agree with you on that.
Yes.
And normally I would say I don't know, but in that instance, I love music. So who
Right.
doesn't? But
And you listen to it all the time.
oh,
And
constantly.
you retain the notes in your mind. So
At night,
I think-
sometimes I can't sleep because I'm thinking of the song. Honest to God,
Right.
I just do. That's
And I
yeah.
believe the contestants used to say, I could guess it in 6 seconds or 5
exactly
seconds. or-
somewhere
yeah.
along that. I can guess
Oh,
in
no,
5
4
seconds.
notes. I think it
four
was
notes,
notes,
4
yeah.
notes, or
Yeah.
not seconds. You're
Right,
correct.
notes.
I can guess that tune in
Right.
4 notes.
Right.
Oh, I can guess it in 2 notes.
Right.
And then you go back and forth,
Right.
and then ding.
I don't know if anyone ever tried to guess it in one. How could you guess a
Well,
song in one
that's
note?
tough, you know. That is, well, you think of all the different songs and music out there. It depends on the category. You'd have to go back to password on that one.
But see how competitive people would be
Yeah.
bidding against each other like
So
that?
your life in so many ways is like a game show. Yeah,
Yeah.
life is a game, just like our other games. The only difference is that life is the only game that we don't realize is a game. so. Each of us has made up largely unconsciously a set of rules, our values. Um, and I was discussing this with Jim yesterday. I said, "What do you think of the topic?" He loved it, and
Yes.
I love the way we work together. It's fabulous, Jim, because good minds think alike, and we always do. And I felt so strong about this
Yeah.
because our life just takes us in different directions every day. It's not all what you expect. You may have it planned out in your mind, but it always works out for the good in
Right.
every which way. It's
Well, we have blessings
our
every day,
beliefs,
which is beautiful.
absolutely.
And we have to recognize the blessings and don't dwell on the challenges.
Absolutely. Recognize those blessings in every way. Yeah.
Yes.
Our beliefs, and we think that our rules are right and inherently true, but always count your blessings and not your problems. And counter, as I say, I think every week of our show.
Yeah,
But
focus.
focus,
on
focus,
the-
focus. Focus, focus, focus.
You got to accentuate the positive.
Oh my gosh. That was a commercial. That was a
We
song.
sang that too,
We
I think,
did.
on one of our shows.
You have to say it again.
Accentuate
The
the
positive,
positive.
and what was the other
I
thing?
can't, something about negative. But anyway,
Okay.
anyway, it was a good song. Maybe next time we'll have that for all
Is
of you.
everything a game, though? Everything is an interactive simulation game. Think
Right.
about that.
Right.
All right. Where every single object in the universe is playable, and we're playable characters. Right?
Yeah, everything stimulates you,
right,
whether it's
right.
your
From
vision, your hearing.
atoms to animals, right? To planets to galaxies. It goes on and on and on. On and on and
Sounds like we have an
on.
astronomer
The
here.
player
in the room.
can manipulate the world in infinity ways and construct their very own
Yes.
while exploring the interconnected relationships between everything. So is our lives like games? Yes. Not games, a game show.
Well, it's wonderful to have a sense of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how we learn, and
Amen to that. You're
always
absolutely
want to
right.
keep that in mind.
Yep.
Always be curious and
That's right. Very curious. Oh, this has nothing to do with our topic, but I laugh at everything. The other day I pulled into the office, and I normally park outside of our building in my parking space. Well, there was a big SUV. This is 2 days ago. And it was a
Right.
police SUV, and he wasn't parked straight where he should have been.
blocking the.
He did like a he took up all three spots. And I thought, my goodness, I couldn't get in there. So I turned. I'm like, well, he could have very well adjusted. I don't care if he was in a rush or not. And just because he's a police officer doesn't mean that he's above the law. Anyway,
It's a
all
private parking lot.
yeah, exactly. So I get in, I open up the office, and then I happen to know the owners across the street.
Wait a
Our
minute.
little,
So where'd you put your car? Around the other
I
side?
had to go
Yeah,
around,
okay.
and that's fine. So I walked around. I said, I'll call up the mart across the street because that's where he was. That's where most of our police officers
Oh,
go.
they were not in the vehicle.
They were not in the
Oh,
vehicle,
okay.
so he had gone
Yeah.
across the street to
Oh,
the
okay.
mini mart, the Greater
Okay.
Theater, and at any rate, I called up the owner and I said, "Do you have a police officer with you? His car's outside." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, yeah." So what do you think happens? He comes over here, and
The
I see-
officer?
yeah, the officer comes over here, and I had the door. I met him at the door, and I was like, "Hi," I said, "Are you gonna give me a ticket?" And he says, "No." I says, "Listen," I said, "I love the idea that you guys watch out for us." I said, "You're wonderful." I says, "But you take up 3 spots." I said, "I've got clients," and I said, "I've got my agents that want to come in." And I said, "Don't give me a ticket." I said, "You're doing a great job." I says, "But you really need to park better." So he starts to laugh, and I don't know what possessed me to say
Yeah,
this.
you're bold.
I don't know what possessed me to do that. But I thought to myself, well, gee, if it were me, I would have gotten a ticket. So, listen, police officer. No, but he just laughed, and I started to chuckle. I said, "Deb, what possessed you to do that?" Again, it wasn't planned. It was just something. I
Right.
have enough need to tell you. that story.
Spontaneity. Spontaneity. You
In
gotta have
life,
that
there
in
you
mind.
go.
And sometimes you need that on a game show, spontaneity.
It was all related. That's why I brought up the topic. But what can I tell you? But he just laughed and giggled. He says, "Well," he goes, "by me parking like that, I get to really keep an eye on things." I said, "I guess so." I said, "Have a great day." We both just chuckled. But anyway, next.
Remember the show Truth or Consequences?
Oh yes, truth or consequences.
That was the
Absolutely.
first actual commercial game show.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Interesting.
And then Ralph Edwards is the original host, and then Bob Barker.
Oh, Bob Barker. Oh,
He
he
used to-
was
he used to end the
dynamic.
He used to end
Dynamic.
the show saying, "Hope all your consequences are happy ones."
That's right. Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up. He was magnificent in so many ways, Bob Barker. Oh my goodness, was he
Yes.
magnificent in every way. And also, speaking of Bob Barker, the Price is Right just got done celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Wow.
50 years
Is
of
that the
being on.
longest running
The longest,
show?
as far as I know, Jim, I believe it is.
Wow.
But The Price is Right is another game show that I enjoyed. But 50 years, so congratulations to The Price is Right. Do we have something by our beautiful Marie?
Yes, and
Pinchmit?
you know what? Once again, out of my mind and into your heart, we love you, Marie Pinchmit. And once
We
again,
do.
she painted that. She's a beautiful
She
artist.
also, Marie, has
Artiste.
paintings for sale if you're interested.
Yes.
Please private message Jim or myself, but mainly Jim. She's got paintings like you won't believe. If you're moving to a new home, if you know of somebody that would enjoy a beautiful oil painting, she's got a little bit of everything for your taste.
And if you search her name, her website will come up.
Right.
And you can also contact her that way. But
So
feel free to
trust
contact
me,
me.
her paintings are absolutely stunning, and I would definitely recommend looking into an oil painting from our dear Marie
Yes,
Pinchmit.
quite a talent, and
Very
we
much.
celebrate you, Marie. One of her essays is Truth or Consequences, so obviously that caught my attention.
Okay, there you go. See, Marie, you never fail us. You never fail us. That's wonderful.
Marie starts off, remember the old television program, Truth or Consequences?
See that?
During this period of unrest in our country, perhaps the program should be returned as a teaching lesson for all of us. To show I'm not a goody two-shoes, I have a confession. When I was around 8 years of age, without permission, I took a fountain pen from my aunt's house. The memory haunts me still. Why did I do it? Maybe because I thought it was pretty. But looking back on the wrongdoing, perhaps it's a sign I was meant to be a writer. Yeah, because she took a pen.
Yeah.
What I remember most vividly is
I
the
love
guilt.
it.
The guilt
The
I
guilt,
felt.
Yeah, yeah.
Just that was enough to instill a profound sense of right and wrong that is alive in my DNA to this day. Yes, there were consequences of lost self-esteem, a sense of shame, and of losing the trust of my aunt, whom I adored.
Aw.
Fortunately, she forgave me, and no lasting harm was done to our relationship.
That's beautiful.
I
That's
love
beautiful.
that. Thank you for always sharing your wisdom with us,
Oh,
Marie.
Marie, you're the best. You kidding me? The best.
Marie writes a column in the PGA Community News every month, too. So we always get to enjoy her essays on a monthly basis. So thank you again, Marie.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Can we see clearly now?
Can we see clearly now? I don't know. Can you see clearly now? Can we?
We can see clearly now.
We can see clearly. It's a Friday morning. It's a beautiful, fantastic Friday morning.
Yes. We
Fantastic
celebrate. We
Friday.
celebrate life.
We celebrate life. We celebrate you. We celebrate. So we came up with a song. We didn't come up with it. It's a song very well known, many, many years. I can see clearly now, but
Yeah,
it's
we're
we.
going to sing it.
We can see clearly now the rain is gone.
We
All
can
of
see
the obstacles in my way. Oh,
way.
we can see all obstacles. I'm sorry. I messed that up. In
Gone-
our way.
gone are the dark clouds that had me blind.
It's gonna be
be
a
a
bright,
bright,
sunshiny
sunshiny day.
Oh, we think we can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying. We've been praying for.
It's gonna be a bright, bright,
bright,
sunshiny day.
Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight
straight
ahead,
ahead,
there's nothing but blue
blue
skies. We can see
See
clear. I
clearly
gotta
now.
get caught on that eye. We can see clearly now. The rain is gone. We can see all obstacles in our way. Here is that rainbow we've been praying for. It's gonna be
Be a
bright,
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 bright, sunshiny
sunshiny
day.
day.
It's gonna be bright, 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 sunshiny day. And we hope your day is going to be bright in every which way. You know how we feel about you. We love being with you. We love, love, love being with you.
And what
we
a
hope-
difference a day makes. you
What
know.
a difference a day
Every
makes.
day makes a difference in our lives. Because
Every
we all
day
touch
makes
people's
a
lives.
difference.
We bring positivity. It's just beautiful to experience it.
And with that being said,
What is that?
What
Is
do
that a
you think?
tambourine?
don't
Ooh,
know.
building it up.
what is
What
it?
a difference
A day
they make.
makes 24
24
little hours, brought the sun and the flowers. Where there used to be rain, what a difference a day makes. And the difference is you and you and you. You always make a difference. Mwah. We love you all. Until next week, we
your-
hope
we'll
you keep your horizons bright.
bright.
All right, everybody. Take care. See you soon.
Thank you for joining us. We always appreciate you being with us and sharing this with